M7IPY, M0JCF.
M0JCF, M7IPY. You getting me there, Mark?
Yeah, you're about 5 and 8 and some aircraft flutter, or it's probably traffic clutter, fewer lorries and that, but 5 and 8 on the 736R, mate.
Absolutely superb. Do you want to take it somewhere else?
Yeah, that sounds dodgy. Let's go to a 450, and if it's occupied, go to 425.
Yeah, we'll do 450.
Is this frequency in use, please, M0JCF? Okay, nothing heard this side, M7IPY, M0JCF.
M0JCF, M7IPY. Good to hear you, Mark. Thanks for coming back to me. Lovely signal here. You're about S7, S8, and a 5 on readability, as I believe we say. Back to you.
Yeah, you're 5 and 9 plus 20 now on this frequency. As I say, I think what was happening, given where you are, there's probably lorries and things, possibly M25 Seven Oaks Way that way, or it's aircraft flutter, probably given the direction you're in, possibly Gatwick, possibly Gatwick, Heathrow. So, you know, like making the signal flutter around. But that last transmission, mate, yeah, it was absolutely perfect. Just wondering, I haven't touched any of the controls since Sunday. Just wondering on the audio quality. I know you said I was radio 5. But just wondering if I'm too loud, too close, too far from the mic, that sort of thing. Back to you.
Mike 7IPY returning. Both of those. No, absolutely fine there, Mark. It was just when you first came on the 2 meter now on Sunday. It was definitely too in your face. It was a bit 1970s bass amp, distorting, not in a nice way. but once you did a bit of knob twiddling, Mrs. It came out fine. Yeah, once you reduced the level and backed off the mic, it was much better. And it's it's faultless now. You're absolutely spot on. Back to you.
Yeah, that's not too bad. So you're in Badger's Mount. So whereabouts in Badger's Mount? Like if we was coming, say we're coming from the Seven Oaks Way, you go across the roundabout, you start going through Badger's Mount, and then if you follow your nose after the next roundabout, you get to Pole Hill. So where are you in relation to that, or are you nowhere near any of that? And you don't have to give me a location. I was just being curious as to distance, direction and that. I mean, I'm only using a colinear, so there's not like I can, when I had the beam, I could swing it round or anything. So yeah, just curious as to where you are, mate. Back to you.
Mike 7IPY returning. Just beyond Pole Hill, there's a little lay-by. And I've literally just pulled up there. I don't know how long I've got, because I don't know how long Julie's interview is for. So I thought I'd come prepared with my flask and my little vegetarian snacks, and I just thought I'd pull up and play a bit of 2 metres, since I haven't done 2 metre mobile for a long time. So to answer your question 10 minutes ago, just past Pole Hill. So imagine you've gone over the little roundabout at Badger's Mount. Pole Hill is on your left. And about a mile beyond the entrance to Pole Hill is a little lay-by. And that flutter that you was talking about early, I think is something to do with QX Bathroom Products, a division of Quality Tech Supplies. There's a great big lorry, aluminium-clad lorry that went right past me in the lay-by, so that might have been adding to the flutter. And now I've got another one just putting up now. I've now got glorious gazebos. It's quite a busy lay-by, this one. Back to you, M0JCF, M7IPY.
Yeah, M7IPY, M0JCF. Yeah, I know exactly where you are, and yeah, I can imagine actually those lorries. Well, my eldest daughter, she lives in Dunton Green, so you know, follow your nose a bit further on from where you are, and that's where she lives. She tells everyone Seven Oaks, and we'll let her get away with that one, but it's still a very nice area. Dunton Green's not too bad actually. I mean, she's been there a year now. She left home a year ago, and well, it was January. She left just after Christmas, but she got the flat just before Christmas. So she's quite happy round there. It's a nice, safe area. So you know, we can't complain that. Well, no, I just saw your message pop up. I think, what did I post? Did I post something earlier, or was, oh yeah, it was about the 73 magazine archives. And I saw your message, and I thought to myself, oh no, I'll tell you what it was. I was deleting a load of photographs out of my phone, and my WhatsApp, any photographs, videos that come through WhatsApp automatically go into my gallery, and I just like go through every now and again and have a quick deletion. That's where I saw your picture, and then I saw your message of where you were. I looked at the timestamp on it. I thought, well, that was only a few minutes ago. Wonder if you're still there. Because I was at Pole Hill yesterday. Emily asked, you know, could you know, like me and Joe meet her there, and my youngest daughter, I say youngest, 25, would we meet her there for sort of brunch, as it were. So we went in, you know, because obviously it's like Ruxley, it's all very, very Christmassy, and they've got, you know, their model villages and God knows what else, and it's all the same old tat. But you know, we go in there and have a look around, have a sniff around. It's all rather jolly and Christmassy and nice, you know. So we went in there, and of course they've got multiple cafes and restaurant-y type things in there, and we just went to the one. I think you may even know it if you know Pole Hill, Novel or whatever it's called. We went in there, and I just had a sausage roll, and they had what they have. You would like my Emily, because she's also a vegetarian, and there's a possible story behind that. When she was younger, when she was still a schoolgirl, I was cooking chicken one day, and I think the piece of chicken that she had, I still say it was perfectly cooked, but it was a bit pinker in the centre. It wasn't raw or anything, but that momentarily like put her off, and that was it. She became a vegetarian at that point, and she's tried all sorts of fads and crazies. She's tried gluten free and lactose free. She's tried all these different things, but you know, she's a grown woman. She can do whatever she wants, and I never dig her out for it. You know, just let her get on with it. So that's the story, mate, and why I mentioned Pole Hill. And when you said about the good food, and I thought, well, that's debatable. You know, it was just it's just a place to go and sit down and have a cup of coffee. Anyway, that was a bit of a long over, just to warm everything up. M7IPY M0 JCF.
M0 JCF, M7IPY returning. Yeah, we got into vegetarianism through lack of money. I got made redundant in '94, and it got to the point where things were getting really tight. The gig work, being a bassist, was just beginning to pick up. So we got some money coming in, and I thought that's all I'm going to do. I never intended on settling down and have a family. And now I've got a 35-year-old and a 37-year-old stepson, stepdaughter. Things were pretty tight money-wise. We were surviving, but things were tight. We kept the house, etc., etc. And the BSE hit, mad cow disease. That's the thing that swayed us, and we were a bit concerned about what the school was doing. So instead of serving beef mince, I think it turned to something like turkey mince, which is full of like steroids, which we weren't happy with. And we were gradually veering towards vegetarianism, because you could either buy a lot of vegetables or a little bit of meat. And so we obviously went down the veggie the route. And so there was no conscious decision for welfare of animals. It was literally just running out of money. We could buy more vegetables than we could meat. And we just stuck with it. And then when things got better for us, we just stuck with it, because it turning veg got us into something called Ayurvedic cookery, which is Indian cooking by reduction. So things get very concentrated, and boy, did we get into Indian food in a big way. I love making chapatis, and I think that's where my large chapati pouch in the front of my my waist, in other words, came from. And we love, Julie's an awesome cook, and we've just stayed vegetarian even when things picked up. The kids, when they come to us, they know they're always going to get a veggie dinner. They were brought up vegetarian, but as soon as they met partners and moved off, they went back to meat again because it's a lot easier, and we only make up 4% of the national majority, the national veggie index. So that's fine. That's one of those things. Pole Hill, absolutely love it over there. They do a wicked halloumi burger, which for a burger fiend like me is wonderful. I like it. Julie likes going over there. My mum used to love going over there. She's a bit less able-bodied, unfortunately, now. So things, we get over there a lot less now. But I just thought I'd drop in Julie off over near Alpington and for a little interview. And I thought I'd come out and play radio. And here we are. M0JCF, M7IPY.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, power to the elbow, as they say, and all of that. Yeah, I mean, and it's quite interesting, you know, whilst I'm not a vegetarian per se, I would say that me and Joe probably are vegetarians several days a week. Like, I'll get up for breakfast and, you know, I'll have cereal or toast or something like that. For lunch, sometimes I might have cheese and crackers, cheese on toast, or, you know, or something, well, basically non-meat. And then in the evening, it depends, you know, like I make what I call my posh baked beans, you know, and I think it was a Jamie Oliver recipe. No, it wasn't. No, I lie. It was a recipe last year. Beginning of last year, me and Joe were given to us as a gift from our daughters for Christmas. So last January, we went down to the Pierre Marco Hotel. Yeah, is it Pierre Marco? Marco Pierre. Whichever one, I'm sure you know him. We went down to his really weird and wonderful hotel down near Bath in Somerset. And for breakfast, I think I had posh baked beans on toast. And they were homemade baked beans. Basically, they were butter beans, fresh tomatoes, herbs, blah, 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 and some onion and stuff, you know, made into a homemade baked beans. And I'm not a big lover of tinned baked beans. You know, I'm not a big lover of all of the snot that they put in them. I just like the beans part of it, you know. So I mean, I quite happily, I'll eat tins of kidney beans and haricot beans and cannellini beans and black-eyed beans and what's the other ones? Oh, just the ones you put in chilies and that, black beans, you know. But anyway, he says, digressing. Yeah, so I got into like concocting all these different recipes for making a version of baked beans. So for instance, the other night we had that with jacket potatoes. So, you know, several days a week I might be totally vegetarian, but without, you know, any conscious thought or effort, and it doesn't do me any harm. At the end of the day, though, you know, I do love my meat. You know, you cannot beat a nice bit of beef, nice bit of lamb at one end of the scale, the expensive end of the scale. But I'll also eat pork, chicken and everything the other end. But what I really do like, and I can't get it so much at the moment because the poor old chap has died, but my brother's neighbour used to be a gamekeeper in some land in Kent, and he would always have hanging in his garage pheasants and ducks, rabbits, hare, other sorts of fowl, wildfowl and that. So, you know, I used to go around there and he'd say, oh, do you want a brace of pheasants? Do you want this? Do you want that? And you go in his garage, and the garage was absolutely, you know, a meat factory, a wild meat factory. And I really do like game type birds, game animals and that. So, you know, at the other end of the scale, I'm into that. And I couldn't imagine giving it up just by choice, you know. And horses for courses, everyone to their own. I mean, I do take the mickey, as most of us do, meat is take the mickey out of vegetarians and vegans, but we take the mickey out of the ones who preach it, if that makes sense. You know, you do whatever you want, I couldn't care less, but don't preach. And you know, inform, you can inform and you can give an opinion and stuff like that, but don't bang on about it until you become a bore, which obviously you don't, because I didn't even know, and I've known you a while now. So yeah, you know, as I say, you know, we do eat vegetarian sometimes just by, you know, happenstance. There's a good word for you. Just by happenstance. But Pole Hill, yeah, I've only been there probably in my whole life. I've only been there half a dozen times, maybe a bit more, because Ruxley, obviously in Sidcup Swanley, Ruxley's a lot closer, and there's a few other. If we're just going to a garden centre, then we'll go to Thompson's or one of them in the Sidcup area. But, you know, if we want to go to the garden centre for that certain je ne sais quoi, especially around Christmas time, they're all at it now. You know, you go round there and it's, you know, it's you can kill an hour just walking around and browsing the displays and the way the displays are set up and that. So that's my gob fault in your fat ear roll, Mr. Chapati boy. M7IPY M0 JCF.
M7IPY with his great big chapati pod coming back at you. And as you can tell, I don't exactly do too badly being a vegetarian. I'm a healthy weight, shall we say, yeah, and have a certain joy de vivre. And we don't miss meat whatsoever. It's because we phased off it. Julie was still eating fish for about 2-3 years. Bear in mind all this happened. This isn't recent. This is like 28, 29 years ago that this happened. Yeah, me and Judy met in 94, so yeah, it was a long old time ago. John was 5 years old, Rachel was 7. I remember that. He literally just turned 5 years old when I became his stepdad. The poor little sausage, and he's still done well. And poor little veggie sausage, I better get that in, haven't I? But yeah, for going back to garden centres and good food, if you want to win points over with Mrs. JCF, one day, take her to a surprise garden centre if she likes going to garden centres. Straight down the A2, turn off at Pepper Hill, and there's a little garden centre down there called Millbrook, which again has got it's a Nobel's type restaurant down there. Take your wallet, take your folding stuff, but boy oh boy is it good. They do a vegan breakfast. I'm a vegan. I can't go that extreme. But I love their vegan breakfast down there. The veggie one is also awesome. But oh boy, you don't walk out feeling hungry, let's say that. We thought it was very, very good down there, but there's one you could win bonus points with as well. You don't, like, now we're talking about now, let's swap. We've done enough food, I'm getting hungry, because I dropped Julie off about, about an hour ago now, and I'm beginning to get hungry talking about this. Antenna tuning units. Are you taking anything tonight, or are you going there, Mark? Back to you.
Do you know what? That was going to be my next subject, and ask, are you going to the club? Yes, I am going. I'm not taking anything commercial, because the World and his dog will be taking commercial, and I'm sure Dave BUO will be talking commercial, as well as possibly homebrew. What I was going to take, and I've been so lazy I haven't got round to it, possibly because I didn't really have a need for it. I was going to bring a homemade one. I've got some nice big tapped inductors here. And I've also got some big variable capacitors from the tank circuits of older hybrids and valve radios. And, you know, and I was looking at them probably a year ago, and I was thinking two big capacitors there, well capable of 100 watts without flashover. I've got these big old tapped inductors. I could make a nice ATU for the sake of it. So what I may well do is quickly cobble something together to give an idea, because I won't build it into a case or anything. I'll just build it onto a board. I've got a couple of old breadboards here that are made out of that polyethylene, you know, the white polyethylene, and I was going to build, you know, the two capacitors, the big inductor, and then I wanted a big wafer switch. I've got some here, and I should be able to cobble something together quite quickly, possibly even a working version, but it'll be open for everyone to see. So I may bring that, but I'll be coming down to the club just to have a nose around you and say hello to all the other rag bags, toe rags and jam rags. and just to be loud as usual. So I'll probably go. I don't know. Did you want a short answer after this? But the other thing I've got is I've got a load of components and stuff like that for money in the coffee, Tim, I'd like to get rid of, that Dave G4NOW gave me along with this Kenwood that he wanted me to have a look at, that I've started looking at, but I haven't given it too much time actually. So I think the short answer is I'm going to be there, possibly taking something. The long answer, well, you've just heard it. M7IPY, M0 JCF.
M0 JCF, M7IPY, leading a professional break. I did hear someone actually call up while we was on, is it S20, the calling channel? Is it? I know Ian JMN refers to the calling channel as S20 because of the old channel system before it got split into 12.5 kilocycles, I believe it is, isn't it? Yeah, now. And so I'm learning as we go. The old M7 tag is buffered every day. Whoever this is again. So I left a break in case anyone was coming in. I think there was someone mobile on the M26 or M25, and you actually went over the top of him. You was a stronger signal when we was on the calling channel, but that's why I left the gap. Anyway, going back to ATUs, yes, I've got two that I need to return. One to Dav and one to our guy, and that's that article that I did for QUA. That was the basis, that was the agreement, that if I borrow them, I have to do something for QUA. So in Bob's words, it saves me having to make something up, which I like. And so I was happy to do that, because I've had some good experiences with those. The Chinese one is amazing for the price. I think Dad built that from a kit of bits, and that's good. However, the LDG, that Pro, Z11 Pro 2 or Pro, Z11 Pro it's called. Boy, oh boy, that is like a set and forget unit. However, it doesn't necessarily create an efficient transmitting system, as we found out, which is no doubt what Dave's talk will go on to last night. And as I discovered yesterday, operating a 14-foot whip on the little car, even with 14-foot radials now, I didn't seem to get out of me. It might have been conditions. Things were weird yesterday. It was a very up and downy day. Not emotionally, but things were very, very different there in my little spot yesterday. Things were echoey, aurora. I don't know. That's why I put question mark. I'm not quite sure what was happening there, and I wasn't getting out as well as I have done. But after fettling the antenna a bit and coming down to a quarter wave, resonant quarter wave on 10 or 12 metres, with a trusty tape measure on the sea wall, that seemed to do an awful lot of a lot of good. And so instead of using the universal 14-footer and the LDG, say, which is lovely, which gives you, a swell 1.5 to 1 on anything pretty much, even a wet piece of string or a leaf or a noodle, a vegan noodle. It would tune anything. But the Chinese one come a close second. So I'm bringing those two back to the rightful owners, and I'm also bringing back. I'm bringing my DIY kit built manual antenna, MFJ antenna unit, tuning unit, which I used a lot to get me onto 10 metres horizontal on a 40-metre dipole. But the bandwidth is very, very sharp, I believe you say in radio circles. The tuning is very, very sharp. So whenever I move, I have to retune. Long-winded answer. I can match you for long-winded answers. My M0 JCF Mike 7 India Papa Yankee.
Oh, with a break just in case, but I think another truck went past you. Some severe fluttering going on. Well, it looks like you've you're learning. This business of amateur radio is all full of self-teaching as you're going along. I think you've embraced that more than most people. But you seem to be enjoying it. You're enjoying this learning curve, especially with things like ATUs and that. Well, I've got a couple of mechanical mechanical ones, commercial ones. I've got a an AT-230, which is the Kenwood one, and it's about as good as you'd expect it to be, being that, you know, it would have been back in the day the very expensive Kenwood. It came with the radio. When I bought the TS-830S from the club archive, we call it, via Martin, it came with this AT-230, and it is very nice. It works very well. The other one I've got is the MFJ Versatuner 3. I forget the model number, but it's one with the roller coaster inductor, so you know you can spin the inductor while tuning. And to be honest, you know, for all of the bad press that MFJ gets, it isn't actually bad at all. I mean, I've tuned up all sorts with that. As you say, I can get on top band with my 90-foot long wire with that, and I can with the AT-230, you know. And I find as well, compared to you know, a lot of radios have built-in antenna tuners, but once the SWR gets to above 3, they then struggle, because obviously what they're doing, that they use all these miniature relays with lots and lots of toroidal coils, and what they're doing, they're constantly switching clickety 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 click, backwards and forwards, you know, trying to find the best match using the inductance, capacitance, and they're all fixed inductors, fixed capacitors, and it's clickety clickety click, trying to you know, like give you the best match. And I think that's where the radios fall down. Whereas the mechanical ones, obviously you've got a good micro turn on, you know, on your two capacitors. The Kenwood has got bands set for it, but the MFJ has obviously got this roller coaster inductor. So, you know, I think you can, you know, like I've had SWRs of 6, 7 to 1, and I've got it down to like 2 to 1, 3 to 1, that sort of thing. You know, so I do like the mechanical ones. And, you know, those Chinese ones that you was on about, you know, I've had quite a few of those, some of them that I've built from kits. And at the moment, for my FT-817, I've got an ATU-40, which is the QRP version of the one that you've been using. So it will activate quite happily at below 5 watts. I think you'll find the ATU-100 sometimes struggles anything below 10 watts. And sometimes it doesn't activate at all. But you can get the ATU-100 reprogrammed. It is I think it's a pick. I think it's a pick. You need a pickaxe or something like that to reprogram the chip, and possibly some inductor changes to get it to work for QRP. So, you know, they are, I think, you know, pound for pound, I think they're very good. The problem is a lot of people get lazy and they want them to do absolutely everything for them, you know. And sometimes, you know, you have to press the reset button and you have to press tune and things like that and get it ready, you know. And people don't like doing the work. Well, I've got an automatic one. I want it to be automatic, you know. Sometimes you have to work for your dinner, but some people don't. So, I like them, you know. I've had a lot of Chinese gear lately, and you know, I think they up their game. You know, I think there's a lot of fallacy around Chinese gear from the past. You know, yes, the quality control can sometimes be off. Yes, sometimes, you know, the designs aren't perfect, that sort of thing. But one thing the Chinese are very good at is copying and then mass producing to the point where they can keep the prices down. So I you know, it swings and roundabouts. You know, you pay your money, you make your choice. So yeah, I say I won't be bringing anything commercial. I mean, when I was a kid back in the 70s, I used to make ATUs for shortwave listening with random long wires and that, and you know that they actually work. I was always skeptical as a teenager. I don't see how this can work. I don't see how it can make any difference. And I don't see how you can add something between a passive device, between the aerial and between the radio, and make the signal stronger. It was counterintuitive, you know, it's not an amplifier and that. And then of course you start to learn about impedance matching and all the rest of it, you know, the big fat wide world of physics. And suddenly, you know, it all makes a lot more sense. So you know, I found that aerial tuning units, for the want of a better word, you know, or words, you know, that I learned to use them as a receiver back in the 70s. But anyway, listen, Dave, I've just seen a WhatsApp message pop up on my phone from my wife. I think she's going out. She said something about getting some batteries. So I'll need to read the message and find out if she wanted me to go along with her, or if she's just letting me know that when I go back in from the garage, she ain't there. This is where she's gone. But I've been talking to you now for 30 minutes. I know that because I recorded it for you, so you could see what quite a very good. That's backwards English. That a very good signal from your mobile down where you are. I mean, you are at an elevated section as well. I mean, it dips down from you and then comes back up the other side across Sidcup and then towards the Black Fen side of Sidcup. So there you go. I'm going to wish you happy lunchtime waiting for Julie, and hopefully I'll see you this evening unless something happens in between now and then. So I wish you 73, mate. Hopefully someone else will now come up, or if you get calling. Oh yeah, S20. Yeah, I think that harks back to the days of crystal controlled radio. If you get an old FM 2-meter transceiver that's got a mechanical dial on it, you know, no digital display, and sometimes that dial on the ring, it'll have, you know, like R1, R2, R3 for the repeaters, it'll have S for the you know, for the channels, and S20 is just harking back to the old days, like people using kilocycles instead of kilohertz and things like that. It, you know, it harks back to the old days. I think everyone knows where S20 is, but not everyone knows where S19, S18 and all that old nonsense is. You know, it's in these days of digital displays, it's easier, isn't it, to just say the display numbers rather than the letter number combination from the old crystal control days. Anyway, I think that's it. So 73, mate, have a good day, and I'll possibly see you this evening. M7IPY, M0JCF, just listening for any final from you.
M0JCF, M7IPY reply. Yeah, superb. Thanks again for all the tips and the advice with all tuners and things. I know that they're matching as opposed to tuning. It's basically, my understanding of it is that it's an impedance matching device rather than, because you're not actually tuning the aerial, but you are making a high Q filter, is my understanding of it. Coming from like an audio background, you're making a sharp filter to present the correct impedance to the radio. In doing that, you do add a bit of pre-selection and hence a resonance for the incoming signal. Hence the reason you said that when you was young you was making filters, resonant filters, in line to improve the signal, a passive unit to improve receiving. Yeah, I totally get that, and that's what that's why Guy lent me a great big loop antenna with an airspace capacitor to get me listening on top band net, which unfortunately all I can get is a massive great big buzzer locally. I do better listening to the Derby SDR. But anyhow, we cover that another day. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for coming back to us, Mark. It's been nice sitting here chatting away for sort of 40 odd minutes, and that's brilliant. I'm actually below the brow of the hill at Pole Hill, so I'm stunned at the way the signal's coming in. It's only 25 watts on this little 857, and superb, good stuff. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy your shopping if you go shopping. Happy battery hunting. M0JCF, M7IPY going clear.
Yeah, no problem, mate. And yeah, everything noted what you said. I'll reply to it all later, but I think we covered it all. M0JCF is now clear. The frequency is clear for use. Cheers, mate.
TTFN 73.